Hi friends, it's Julie Golding Page, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in St. Stephen, New Brunswick, Canada, along the tidal Scoodic or St. Croix River, the traditional territory and home of the Passamaquoddy. And I'm grateful they share this beautiful place with us. Today I have a super simple card for you. No die cutting needed at all, very few supplies needed, and you can get the paper for free with qualifying purchase during Sale-A-Bration, which is on now. So let's get right to it, and I'll tell you how you can get that paper if you're interested in this particular one. All right, let's switch over. And here is our project for today. So this is a super simple card, and it uses, like I said, paper you can get free during Sale-A-Bration with a $75 spend. And that adds up even in the same order. If you want to make an order, for example, of $150, you get to choose 2 items free if you want. And there's also special items only available at $150 spend. So you can chalk up as many freebies as you want in your order. It applies to customers and demonstrators alike. So it's a really great time of the year. I call it the most wonderful crafting time of the year. So let's get right into our project today. And what we're going to need to do first is do our stamping. So here is the stamp set that I'm going to be using. And this one is brand new in the new spring mini catalog that just came out last week. It's called Birthday Celebration. And in fact, I featured it last week in my video as well. If you're interested in that card, let me just grab it and I can show you. So here's another card that I made with this particular set there from that birthday sentiment. And this uses the beautiful wildflower birthday paper that coordinates with this stamp set and the bundle. It also comes with dies. If you want to see that particular one, just click through where it says Learn More to see the supply list and so forth for today's project. And just go back one day in my blog and you can find all of the interesting stuff here with the full supply list and the video from last week. If you can't find it, just let me know. I'll be happy to point you in the right direction and send you off the link. So we're just going to do this super simple card today. I don't know about you, but I like really simple cards. I like complicated ones sometimes, but honestly, I don't make that many to give away because who has that kind of time in their regular life, right? So I like to do these super easy ones. So I have pre-cut these pieces ahead of time. This one is 4 by 5 1/4, just basic white. And these are pieces of the Bloom Impressions, it's called, paper that you can get free during Sale-A-Bration with $75 orders. So here you go. Here are just some of the patterns. So that's the what I would call the front sides of the paper. And then we flip it over and you have all of these more monochromatic kinds of patterns on the back. So you can kind of pair them together in whatever way you like. So I just think this is a really beautiful paper. And how we decided what to make today, in fact, how I decided which paper I was going to use is I posted on my Facebook page earlier this past week. And I said, which paper do you like the best? And people chose this one. And so that's why I'm actually doing this paper here today. So if you're looking to make this card, this one, let me measure it for you, is 4 by 2 3/4. So that's 2 3/4 this way and 4 that way. And this little piece here of the same Bloom Impressions paper is 1 1/4 by 4. So you can see you could use either side, whatever you like. So we can put it together like this, and then this on the bottom, or we could flip it over and have that yellow. So it really doesn't matter. They all coordinate, so it makes no difference. So we're going to go ahead and just kind of place these on our paper. We're not going to adhere them. I always like to place everything first, and then I only adhere when I'm completely sure that's what I want to do. And today what we're going to do is we're going to stamp in this little middle piece of this white panel. And just in case there's a boo-boo and we have to turn it over or remove this piece and turn it around, whatever, to get a new white space to stamp on, I just want to not adhere those yet. So we're going to use this beautiful ink, Flirty Flamingo. It's actually one of my favorite Stampin' Up! Colors, but I don't really use it all that much right now with the papers that we have available. So I'm really happy to use this one today. And we're going to use Make a Wish as our sentiment. So let's just dig that out. And how I like to pick up my sentiments is I just put them down so I can read them. So the words are right side up and you can read them as normal. So they look like this. So you can see Make a Wish. And then I like to pick it up with the block. And that's because then I can see kind of when it's in the middle, and I'll get better pressure if it's right in the middle than if it's at the top or bottom or to one side. And if it's a long sentiment, you can very easily, when putting it directly onto the block just with your hand rather than picking it up like that, you can kind of make it arc and get it crooked and that sort of thing. And it's easier to get it straight if you just put it on the table and then pick it up. So let's go ahead and we'll stamp that right on here. So we're going to stamp over toward the right hand side, and I'm just inking this up really well here. So you can see it's got some pretty good coverage there. And I'm going to come over here and let's see, where do I want it? I want a little space there. Okay, so we're going to hold it down for several seconds. I usually count to about 8 or so. And that gives the ink plenty of time to go from the block surface all the way down into the paper. And there you go. So that's where we stamped it. So that was just to put on those little pieces of paper so that we would know exactly where to stamp. And that's all the stamping you've got to do. So if you don't have a stamp pad at home, I'd be happy to help you find the color or colors that you need, but you could also just write that in and just do careful handwriting. So that's another way to do it if you're just kind of learning card making and just exploring. So I'm going to use my stamp chamois here. It's called a Simply Chamois. It's this foamy material that's specially made for just rubbing your stamps into it. You just wet it down with water, and that is it. The water will take off almost all of the inks that Stampin' Up! Sells. And the ones that are in this kind of container, they're all water soluble, so no worries there. It should come right off for you. So you can see it's just right off the block and it's all nice and clear again. Okay, so now we can go ahead and put our papers on. So let's do that. I'm just going to use my Stampin' Seal here. That's my preferred adhesive. What I will say is that it's also good for certain things. Like if you're using some special papers, oops, let's put it right side up. Papers like vellum, a liquid glue is not a good choice because it takes forever and a day to basically dry for you. So that just takes a long time. And if you're using this pattern and some of the others out of Bloom Impressions paper, just be aware that there are these pieces of greenery that do have a right way up. I don't think that most people would notice if you put it on upside down or sideways, but I just wanted to point out that they do have that particular way up. So now we have to decide, are we going to put yellow or are we going to go with the peach pie? So the one I did before, I did peach pie. Why don't we try yellow this time just to make it interesting? If our greenery is going in the right direction to work with that. Yeah, I think that would be okay. So let's do that. We'll put it on so we can just have a different color and you can just sort of see what it looks like. So let's do that. And here we go. I'm just kind of lining that up all on the edges there before I stick it down hard so that I don't have it overlapping one side and not the other or something like that. Okay, so we've got that much done. And now we're going to put this piece of ribbon on. So here's the ribbon I'm using today. It's called Peach Pie. And It's called bordered ribbon. It is 3/8 of an inch. And I find this is the best kind for card making. I love the 3/8 of an inch. I have some that are smaller, like a 1/4 inch or even an 1/8. I've got twine, I've got trim, I've got 1/2 inch ribbons and bigger, but honestly, this is my very favorite. I find it just ties really well. And the size of it goes well on the small canvas that you have when you're doing card making. So here's what we're going to do. We're just kind of measuring this informally here to leave a little space on either side. And then I'm going to get out my mini glue dots here. And we are going to put a glue dot on each end of our ribbon. And then we're going to adhere this little piece of ribbon to the back. Now you could just wrap a piece around and tie it, which is not what I did there. It would use more ribbon, and I find it's a bit of a frig to get it to look decent too. So I don't usually do it that way. I usually do a little piece like this, and then I'll cut another one, maybe about 4 inches long. So I'm just going to measure 4 inches down here on my glass mat. There we go. And there's a little 4-inch piece of ribbon, and all I'm going to do is feed it right through here and then tie a very simple knot just once. So that's all you got to do, is just tie it once. That should secure it really, really well, and then you can trim it however you want. And that method of tying, also like this, will give you a fairly flat middle piece here. So it may well go through the Canada Post slot. You'd have to check. I have one of the slots at home, so I can slip it through and see if it's going to work. But do check with your local post office before you put stamps on, just so you know how much you need for it. So that's what we've got there. Now I'm going to take a piece of basic white thick cardstock, and this is just half an 8.5 by 11 sheet. And I've pre-scored it with my scoring tool. So it kind of gives you a place to fold it in the middle, and that just makes it really convenient. Then I'm going to use my bone folder, which is a very handy little tool, to give it a nice crisp fold. I find the cards will stay closed better that way, and they'll also stand up nicer for you with a nice crisp fold. Then I'm going to flip this over, and we're going to use some little Stampin' dimensionals. See these little hexagons? I love these. I've told my customers many times that the reason that I'm interested in Stampin' Up! And have stayed with them as a customer first, and then as their, it's actually their adhesives. So I really love their adhesives. I think they're fantastic. All right. Because the last thing you want to do is spend all this time making a card, and then you just end up with it falling apart when the person receives it. That's not cool. Okay, so here we go. And the last thing we're going to do is add these purple adhesive back sequins. And these ones are another item that you can get during Sale-A-Bration through the end of February, or whenever they sell out, whichever comes first. You can get these free with your $75 spend. So these are fantastic little things. They're so pretty. They're all self-adhesive, and even though they're called purple, the only color that really looks purple is, or the only ones that look purple are these ones. This is more like a deep pink, like maybe Berry Burst or Melon. These ones are a paler pink, and then these are an iridescent white. So there's all kinds of nice colors that you can work with there, and we're going to use the little pink ones here today. So I'm just going to put one there, and one there, and then a large one over here to emphasize the word wish, just like that. And with that, we have finished our card. So very simple card. It would be very good for making multiples. You could make a whole bunch in a very short amount of time, and no die cutting needed. And once again, the paper is called Bloom Impressions. If you want the full supply list and how to get in on the free paper and the free embellishments, just click through where it says learn more, and that'll take you to my blog post, and all the info is there. And if you don't already have a demonstrator, I would be just delighted to help you with your order if you need something today. So just let me know and send me off a message if you like. All right, thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.